Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Phillips and I just wanted to welcome you to World Book Day. Now I'm going to be reading a short extract from one of my favourite books, which is The Adventures of Paddington. Now you might think that Paddington is a children's book, but actually it's a book that's followed me all the way through my childhood and into my adult life. It follows the adventures of a kind-hearted Peruvian bear and all the mishaps that he gets himself involved in. Now, I'm pleased to say that I get to read these stories to my child because we get to read them just before he goes to bed. So I hope you do enjoy reading about Paddington Bear, and we're going to look at a spot of decorating. Paddington gave a deep sigh and pulled his hat down over his ears in an attempt to keep out the noise. There was such a hullabaloo going on, it was difficult to write the notes in his scrapbook. The excitement had all started when Mr. and Mrs. Bird and Mrs. Brown had received an unexpected wedding invitation. Luckily, both Jonathan and Judy were out for the day, or things might have been worse. Paddington hadn't been included in the invitation, but he didn't really mind. He didn't like weddings very much, apart from the free cake, and he'd been promised a piece whether he attended or not. All the same, he was beginning to wish that everybody would hurry up and go. He had a special reason for wanting to be alone all day. He sighed again, wiped the pen carefully on the back of his paw, and then mopped up some ink blots which somehow had found their way onto the table. He was only just in time for that moment when Mrs. Brown burst open the door and rushed in. "Ah, there you are, Paddington." She stopped short in the middle of the room and stared at him. "Why on earth are you wearing your hat indoors? And why is your tongue all blue?" Paddington stuck out his tongue as far as he could. "It is a funny colour," he admitted, squinting down with interest. "Perhaps I'm sick." "You'll be sick, all right, if you don't clear up this mess," grumbled Mrs. Bird as she entered. "Just look at it. Bottles of ink, glue, bits of paper, my best sewing scissors, marmalade all over the table runner, and goodness knows what else." Paddington looked around. It was a bit of a state. "I've almost finished," he announced. "I've just got to rule a few more lines and things. I've been writing my memories." Paddington took his scrapbook very seriously and spent many long hours carefully pasting in pictures and writing up his adventures. Since he'd been at the Browns, so much had happened that he was now more than halfway through. "Well, make sure you do clear everything up," said Mrs. Brown, "or we shan't bring you back any cake. Now do take care of yourself, and don't forget that when the baker comes, we want 2 loaves. With that, she waved goodbye and followed Mrs. Bird out of the room. "You know," said Mrs. Bird as she stepped into the car, "I have a feeling that Bear is up to something. He seemed most anxious for us to leave." "Oh, I don't know," said Mrs. Brown. "I don't see what he can do. We shan't be away all that long." "Ah," replied Mrs. Bird darkly. "That's as it may be. He's been hanging around on the landing upstairs half the morning. I'm sure he's up to something. And I don't want to ruin what Paddington is up to, but he certainly does find himself in all kinds of scrapes, trials and tribulations during the course of this story. So if you do want to read on, it is The Adventures of Paddington. I hope you enjoy World Book Day, and I'm looking forward to hearing about all the books that you are currently reading. Thank you. Bye.